It's been a long, long day, and, well, the emotions won't go down. This is the one last final game in front of us. It is really important for both of those players. I won't keep you waiting. I won't keep them waiting. Verdi, please join me here on the stage. Nerchio, for the last time today. Guys, I know now it's more a matter of the endurance, physical strength, the mindset. Do you think you have it to win the last game? Because it's up to the result, who will advance.
If you visit tourneys like this, you should be sure in your power.
Okay, that's fair enough. This is Verdi. Artur, how is it going to be?
I don't really like to play against Verdi, but I'll do my best.
You heard him, so big round of applause for both of them, guys. Good luck and have fun. Last game, you guys, nothing more today. Giving it back to our experts then.
Hey, wait for us. We're not in the game.
Welcome back to the analyst desk. I'm Nerchio. I'm with QXC Maynard, QXC Keenan, and
Wait, what?
I don't know who he looks like.
I don't know
Todd.
what you just said.
We're going to our last series today. It's been a very long day, but it's going to be very exciting. Verdi's first time on stage. He had a lot of really interesting games yesterday that these guys had a lot of trouble figuring out. But he ended up being successful, and then he comes in today into the group stages. We don't get to see his games. We just keep getting these updates that he keeps winning. And if he wins this, he goes through into the
winner of
bracket.
this match.
Yep.
The winner
In
of
fact-
this match goes through.
Yeah, the winner. So it's up to Nerchio or Verdi to pull this out. Winner goes through.
Are the other two decided? I know Sake's in.
Sake's like defeated everyone, and the other
Sake
group-
and Yoda are through.
Sake and Yoda are through.
Prediction, Jared.
Wow. 2-0 Nerchio, man. I gotta win something
Okay, so
today. I gotta
Verdi
get something
advancing
right.
from this group, guys.
Did I just curse him?
Yes.
Screw the EG curse, man. There's the JC curse.
The Jeremy curse.
All right.
Say Nerchio 2-1.
Nerchio 2-1.
I don't know. I go for the opposite of what's.
Go for Verdi. Someone's got to go for Verdi, man. First map
Which
is
would be
Antiga
the opposite
Shipyard.
of what you said.
Yeah, it's true enough. The map is loading. Everyone's getting ready. It's going to be really exciting. I'm so interested. I'm just going to camp Verdi's screen and see what he's doing.
Immortal Clash.
There's
After he made +1 first and did
Okay, wait.
Two songs.
Should we
We know
take
that's
bets on which all-in he does each game?
Yeah,
This
Immortal.
game.
Immortal.
You think Immortal?
After he goes for +1 and late Robo, which won't make sense, but it will work anyway.
Gateway expand into Forge, into Robo, into Immortal. No, I think. It's so hard
You
to
know,
disagree.
I want to hear Kato
7
and
gate all in.
Apollo.
All right, we're going to go over to the casters, get in this game, and have lots of fun doing it.
Welcome back, guys. The last Zerg versus Protoss for the day, and we're gonna find out who is going to advance. Zerg in general struggling a little bit. Nerchio, one of the last few that has a chance to advance to tomorrow's matches.
And both of these guys are sitting at 2 wins and 2 losses. It is a must-win for both players if they want to advance. The loser is out of the tournament with 2 wins, 3 losses. Not good enough, not going to cut it. It is a very important series that we are about to join.
Exactly, so we're going into the game, and the first map is Antiga Shipyard, where to the right side of the map we have the Protoss player in blue. It is Verdi. As opponent starting to the left side of the map, the Polish player, it is Aces Nerchio.
Zergs be dying all around at the moment, but look who seems to be the one that wants to do something funky. It is Nerchio with an 8 pool opening up here as we see the money being saved up. He's the one trying something.
And look for the pool. We have actually the pilot for Verdi now out at the big choke point, and this is always really, really difficult for you as a Protoss player if your opponent is going for this early pool build. He's scouting though, so he will see what's happening. Let's see how he reacts to this.
And scouting is something you don't see very often. And the nickname that we've given Verdi over the weekend is the Confuser. Usually on this map, we like to see Nexus first, which means no probe scout, because you want as much money as you can afford to get on that Nexus as fast as you can. But now Nerchio's going to be like, oh, rats. Well, this is scouted early, and Verdi sees it, and now he has to start to plan his defense.
Yeah, exactly. He has to drop the forge immediately, and there it is. Another pilot in the main base will follow shortly. At this point, really, it's so difficult for you to hold the ramp. You can, of course, always try to pull a couple of probes, block the ramp, and then use this cannon, but the pilot goes down the main base as expected, so that he can't build one cannon in the mineral line.
Do you know what I would have done now if I was Nerchio? Gone 8-pool, shown the fact that I'm being aggressive,
And then just go for
and
the
then
eco.
build drones. Hashtag mind games.
Confusing the confuser.
Yeah. And if I was Verdi, I would have known that was happening. And I would have just got Nexus. Hashtag mind games.
Yeah, you can't confuse the confuser. That just doesn't work. So the Zerglings are on their way. Nerchio going into drones now. We have the first cannon for Verdi being built, and this always lends itself to a very interesting situation in the game. Suddenly the Protoss player is the one who has more economy, has the better harvester count, but he's gonna lose the pylon on the low ground. He's gonna lose the forge as well. Is he gonna lose probes though?
We'll see as the cannon's about to complete here. And it's in range of that second cannon as well, so the second cannon will complete as well. So this is quite a good defense here by Verdi. He's expecting to lose the forge and expecting to lose that pylon down. And now Nerchio's going to play the catch-up with the drone to the probe. Count as 12 versus 17.
Exactly. Nerchio is soon going to drop his own expansion, and he needs to scout exactly what Verdi is going to do now, because Verdi is now restricted to his main base, but he could go for a lot of different builds. We've seen players even go into DTs. We have seen 4-gate attacks, or just them trying to claim the natural after a little while. But for now, Verdi is still a bit ahead. You can see that we have 20 harvesters against 19 at this point in the game.
And the Lings are just trying to get as much damage as they can do. Anything. And that's something he's found he can bring down, and that assimilator will fall. A Zealot is trying to be chrono boosted out to help out, and it will. But if the Zealot's caught out of position, 6 Lings will surround and kill the Zealot. So he's going to have to be very careful with this.
I actually think he has to cancel the cybernetics core. If Nerchio is going straight for the building, he's most likely being able to cancel it. But the Zealot is out now.
Zealot and 2 probes, though, do beat 6 Lings. So it depends on the micro probe players. Don't get surrounded. Oh, Verdi. Do not get surrounded there with that Zealot. That's the last thing that he wants to do.
I actually expect the Nerchio just to pull back from the assimilator and try to force the cancel on the cybernetics core to delay it.
Yeah,
just attack at the wall gates.
But the problem is the second Zealot's out now, so...
Yeah, at this point it's late.
Oh, second Zealot. Help.
Oh, wow.
Well, that one goes down, and that's a good trade. 1 Zealot dead for 2 Lings. And the second Zealot didn't help out his friend very much, and Nerchio's still quite low on his drones, but is trying to catch up as fast as possible here. At 24 to 24 now, has equalized, but Verdi now will be able to start to expand. He's getting a sentry down, he's got 2 Zealots, he's gonna move down with the Stalker, and will be able to expand.
Yeah, Nerchio is just now getting a second queen. He starts with his gas, and he always has a few units just trying to find out if there are probes on the map. You always need to know, is there a probe somewhere? Is there a pylon? Is there a warp-in point for the Protoss player that I have overlooked at this point? Because if you know there's nothing, then you can just have a few units at the bottom of the ramp, maybe at the big ramp, and you are aware whenever the Protoss starts to attack, which gives you a little bit of time to prepare, build a few spine crawlers, build the units. But at this point, Verdi is just going into the expansion play. Nerchio is just dropping 1 spine, just to be on the safe side.
A pattern that Zerg players often fall into is feeling overly safe, saying, all right, time to drone up, take a third and drone up. And you can get stung by gateway timing a lot.
Yeah.
And that's something that he has to be very careful about, which is why we see the spine down, which is why we're going to see the evolution chamber built too. And I wouldn't be surprised if Carapace was the upgrade used here as well, just to make sure he is good in defensive reasons against any form of aggression that could follow this.
Lair now for Nerchio and 3 additional extractors, so a lot of gas for him. And so far we don't see additional gateways, well 2 additional gateways for Verdi, but not enough to put a lot of pressure onto the Zerg player. So Nerchio at this point is really in a good spot. We have him now with the Overlord moving into his opponent's maze base, just trying to get those scouting information. And Verdi does what you would usually do if you go for 1 gate into expand. He starts the hallucination upgrade, but that's usually something that you use to find out if your opponent is going into a spy attack, to find out what exactly he's doing so they can prepare accordingly. But given his playstyle yesterday, I'm not quite sure what that is going to indicate.
He's the confuser, man.
Yeah.
He's the king of hashtag mind games. He can move out with 3 immortals that were hallucinated and, you know, freak Nerchio out and then fall back and expand. Yeah, anything is possible.
There it is again. He goes straight for the Twilight Council and goes for Blink. That's exactly the same build that he used. Well, of course, with a little bit of difference that he had to adjust to Nerchio's aggression in the early game. But that's very much what he did on Metropolis yesterday.
Yes, but the Infestation Pit is coming down here. The Twilight Council isn't really going to offer that much here for Verdi. Obviously, it's going to help out just a tad with his upgrades, but the fact is, though, that there's no proper upgrades for Protoss. There's no +1. There's no +1 armor, +1 attack. He's only got Blink. Yeah. So it's a really weird playstyle, which is why he's the confuser. It doesn't make too much sense. Exactly. What he's actually going for. He's a very confusing player, and that's probably the reason why Nerchio said he's not, you know, happy to play against him. He doesn't really like playing against him.
Exactly, and when Nerchio faced Verdi the last time, he lost the best of 5 series. He won the first 2 games, and then he dropped 3 games in a row. And you can really see that Verdi now heading into the Blink, whereas Nerchio, with his Pathogen Glance upgrade already on the production tab, is in a great position if Verdi decides to move out. But as you mentioned, there are no upgrades, because there is no Forge. He's just now building it.
Yeah, and we have Pathogen Glands on the way, and everybody knows Infestors are pretty good at defending against a lot of Protoss attacks, and we're going to start to see the Infestors made in a couple of seconds' time because he has enough gas. He's at the right time with his Pathogen Glands. Yeah. There's the Infestors, and then combining his Infestors with the Carapace upgrade, which we knew he was going to get, he's going to have a solid defense against the majority of 2 base attacks that Verdi can throw at him, and Verdi's going to have to look, from what I feel, for a 3rd base, but you know, anything's possible. With the Thrower Bay coming down, where we can at least say that he's definitely going for that 3rd base now, though, but the question is when.
Yeah, the 3rd base already being blocked by an Overlord with a creep, and Nerchio has his own 3rd, and he's going to drone up again. He's taking the extra gas now at the 3rd base, sending a few of the Harvesters over already. You can see him going into the Infestors. There's the drone up, and Verdi is just getting all the tags. He's going for the +1 attack upgrade. His Blink's about to finish. He's going to robotics play, and the Probe is already heading out. He knows that he needs a 3rd base, but this is the scenario that you always try to avoid when you're up against a Zerg player on this map. Antiga Shipyard in the late game just lends itself to a very, very strong macro game for Zerg players, and for Protoss, especially defending the 3rd base, is really difficult.
Unfortunately for Verdi, he's going to kind of run into a brick wall, and that's going to be the fact that he doesn't have Colossus, he doesn't have Thermal Lance, and what we're going to see from Nerchio, most likely, is going to be an infested Terran attack. He knows that his opponent's trying to take a 3rd base, he knows his opponent's tech is late, he knows his opponent's upgrades are late, so Nerchio should be just looking forward for a clean victory. And the interesting fact is, I say that, but there's 4 Spine Crawlers coming. That doesn't make that much sense either. But I feel right now that Nerchio's a little bit uncomfortable because he doesn't know if his opponent's about to take a 3rd base or not. He wants to secure himself, but as soon as he does know, he has such a good amount of energy on his Infestors. He has Fungals, he has 7 Infestors, he has a lot of infested Terrans too, and if he builds up a big Roach Ling army before Thermal Lance is ready, he can easily take the win.
I feel that Nerchio is just trying to play it really safe here. He could have gone for this attack timing that you already talked about, but at this point he just tries to make sure that Verdi can't break him. He even builds the Spine Crawlers on the high ground, and his tournament life is on the line here, so he plays it as safe as possible. And he also drops the Spire. You need the Spire, so you need to get the Corruptors out there, deal with those Colossi of your opponent, and later on you can go into the Hive Tech, into the Greater Spire attack. And here we have Verdi now, moving out onto the middle of the map, and suddenly there are the Zerglings running past, and they will see that Verdi indeed does not go for this 3rd base.
See, it's crazy, it's impossible to read Verdi. He's not taking a 3rd base, and he is going to go for an attack. So what Nerchio did, he already knew that maybe something like this could happen. And he has all these spines down, and now he's going to be in a defensive position. The one thing he doesn't have is Corruptors. The Colossus that is out there is going to deal a lot of damage. The double Colossus that are out there, there's a lot of force fields. It's 14 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. 6 Spine Crawlers are being made. Nerchio knows that if he defends this, he wins the game. As simple as that.
Nerchio needs to buy some time. He wants those Corruptors, but I feel that he can't get them. He has so many Infestors. He can drop the Fungals. He needs to wait until the Spine Crawlers are gone. Here come the Fungals, 1 and 2, and the pulling forward by Verdi, taking on the first few Infestors. Verdi with a lot of army supply here, and Nerchio has to be really careful. This is not going to look good, especially with those force fields now suddenly at the ramp.
Oh, and he's got a good position on that high ground too, and here come the Corruptors. I feel that Nerchio may have to sacrifice his 3rd base. Oh, the Infestors didn't want to lose him. If he sacrifices his 3rd base, the force field, where is it? Oh, he doesn't trap the drones in. That's a mistake there, but if he sacrifices the 3rd base, waits for the Corruptors, smashes the army, he still can win.
That was really a weird force field there. He could have dropped another one to trap all those drones, but he didn't. He can't kill the hatch after all. Nerchio even supply locked here, but those Corruptors, they will definitely be an issue very soon for Verdi. The Protoss player just blinking after them. One of them going down, the second one as well, and here comes Nerchio, walking up that ramp once more. He's dropping those funnels, he's trying to get into good position with the Corruptors, but the Colossus, they are still alive and kicking and pressuring Nerchio back.
Yeah, it's a terrible position for Nerchio to take that fight there, but is he going to be able to hold on? I'm not sure he's going to. The Colossus remain alive. Stalkers come 2 by 2 and are looking for the victory. Nerchio is holding on with everything he has, but he doesn't have enough here, I feel.
Well, Nerchio is suddenly in the supply lead again. Of course, where he has to wait for the next round of warpins, but he blinked into the spine crawlers, and all those spine crawlers are adding extra damage to Nerchio's defense. His reinforcements are now streaming in, taking down that one last Immortal, and suddenly Nerchio is in a position where it's still tough, but he could take this.
There's 16 Stalkers there though, and with good micro, Verdi may be able to bring down Nerchio. It's going to be very, very close here, but I still give the edge to Verdi in this fight.
Nerchio lost those Infestors. That's the big problem for him. With the Infestors, with the funnels, he could break through here. He could pin those Stalkers down in range of the spine crawlers. But without the Infestors at the funnel, Verdi suddenly can just blink 6 days to Sunday, get those units back to safety, and Nerchio even pulling his drones now.
Yeah, good control here by Verdi. Once again, displaying how he was able to immortal Red, defeating him out of the open bracket on day 1, basically. And now he's looking to pick up a victory here. How many roaches are going to be able to bring this down?
Nerchio is currently even building another macro hatch. He has another base to the left center position, but that won't come into play at all if he can't defend here. Verdi is once again trying to push in. He still has 10 Stalkers. The roaches are just trying to hold on for dear life. Here come the reinforcements. The Queen is still there as well. He needs a lot more units. He's running out of lava too.
Yeah, he's running out of lava. He's running out of drones as well because he's using them as the defense here. And Nerchio trying to mount the perfect defense. Good controls again, but he's going to lose sight range on the ramp in a minute.
Those Queens are really, really amazing for Nerchio on the other hand. They can drop those fuses as soon as they have the energy, and they are landing extra damage. They have the superior range too. And suddenly, Verdi is pushed back. Nerchio, has he done it?
Yeah, he may have done it here, but there's still a lot of units coming in. It's very equal. As mentioned before, they have basically the same income and the same amount of units coming down. These drones, ooh, they're going to sneak out to that expansion on the left-hand side. Verdi's not going to know about it, and Nerchio's going to have a fresh base that Verdi has absolutely no idea about. And all the probes are coming to join the Stalkers for one final battle. Hand in hand, they will go. And we're about to see, but Nerchio may have enough now.
Nerchio's expansion at the left side is so amazing that he was able to edge that out to build it, and now suddenly it comes into play. He is using his units to push Verdi back to Protoss play. He looked like he could claim victory, but Nerchio is now trying to take the win here. All those probes are not mining anymore. Nearly no income for Verdi left. He has to win with this push, but Nerchio is building more and more units, Zerglings and Roaches, just waiting for this fight to happen.
All right, here it is. This is going to be the last game. The last battle in this game. All the probes die immediately, and Nerchio has so many roaches left. Queens there as well. The Lings are getting quite tight into those Stalkers, doubling the supply. Nerchio looked like he could have fell there, but it seems he's going to do it.
Nerchio holds and he takes this game. What an amazing defense by the Polish Zerg player. Verdi is on the run. The Roaches chasing the Stalkers down, and the Zerg player, he doesn't stop there. He still has a mining base. Verdi doesn't even know about it, and I think this is the only reason why he didn't leave the game yet.
Yeah, this is absolutely a crazy game. Basically, I don't know how long that attack came in at 14 minutes. That's like a 6-minute long attack if it was a little bit after 14 minutes.
GG. Game over, and Nerchio takes the 1-0 lead in the best-of-3 series. What a crazy start into this game.
That was just wild, crazy, and fun. And I am so excited to hear Todd's thoughts on that game. I'm sure he's excited to give us a lot of info on the Confuser. That man right there, Verdi, who's pulled out a lot of good wins. Remember, he played in the open bracket on day 1 of the tournament, was able to knock out Liquid Ret from advancing to the main tournament, and is now fighting to go on to tomorrow.
I think Verdi's just overcommitting a little bit with those blinks into the spine crawlers, and of course the force fields could have been a little bit better, but let's bring it back to Todd. What do you have to say about the last game that we just saw in Atlanta Spaceship?
Todd, you can just go right into it, man.
Okay, first of all, Kaldor, roaches. You said it before, but I think it's time to come back to the subject. But okay, basically Nerchio, he opened with 8 pull here. He was trying to punish some kind of greedy play and no scout from Verdi. Maybe he did not have much info about him because Verdi almost always opened with Spinelon on the ramp and scouts right after. So there was nearly no chance he could achieve much here, and he did not. So after that, we went into a regular game. I mean, a regular Verdi game where basically he expand with gate and then those like, I don't know what. He goes for hallucination to scout a bit. He goes for blink stalkers. And just when I think he's going to all in with a lot of blink stalkers, he throws down a robo bay and go for Colossal on 2 bases, which does not make much sense. He does not try to kill the overlords on his 3rd base like ever until the 12th minute, which, I mean, if you're gonna take a 3rd, you better take it fast. And so Verdi, he just masses on those 2 bases, and he tries to hit a big timing with as many units as he can. He has blink, a couple Colossi, some Immortal, and he cannot make +2 because he can't have the gas for everything. You don't want to make a lot of Zealots, so you need to make a lot of Stalkers once you're done building up your sentry count. And yeah, that's just what Verdi did. And we're actually going to jump into the replay here and see the attack that he made. Okay, so he starts taking down the rocks here, and Nerchio, he had his fire too late here to have Corruptors on time, so I feel like Nerchio, he should have stacked his 3rd, because he could not defend his position here. Imagine he moved the spines back here, and he sent the drones inside of his natural and his main to mine. He would have had time to get the Corruptors. He really needed those here. And instead of that, he tries to fight here by first throwing down a couple of Fungals, but wait. I'm gonna take a look here at the army supply. Verdi 98, Nerchio 70. I don't even know how Nerchio won that. Like, it should be auto loss from here. So basically Verdi moves in now, and he's able to take out a lot of those units immediately. Now he pulls back to get out of the range of those spine quarters. So I guess he could have moved in a bit more. No, he does not have a force field left for those drones, so they're gonna be able to escape. And that was actually very important here. I think somebody mentioned it, I think it was Apollo. And in the end, I think those drones, they played such a big role in this game. Nerchio, he would have had so much less income if those drones hadn't made it out. So Verdi now, he killed the 3rd. I feel like he could have played this very differently, actually. He could have just been more patient, but Nerchio taking the fight to Verdi here is a big mistake. He gets a lot of those units killed almost immediately. Verdi actually blinking forward here. I'm a bit surprised by this. He did not have to. He blinks inside of the spines here. He could have just let the Colossi do the work on those spine quarters, but maybe he was over-eager. He did not want to give time to Nerchio to get many more units. He did not know that Nerchio didn't have a macro hatch, which was a very important information here.
It feels like when you've got that Colossus and you're fighting the spine crawlers, you can kind of siege out the position. He didn't need to rush into it with the stalkers.
Yes, and now Nerchio starts holding, but like we're gonna go into this 10 minutes fight where like they just keep on fighting and trading. But even now Verdi, he didn't have to overcome it. He can just stand there and keep blinking back. He can make 4 sentries, stay down this ramp and tell to Nerchio, you're never gonna take a 3rd base. And if you try to move down this ramp, I'm gonna force fill your army in half. But instead of that, he moved in for the kill here. He thought he had enough stalkers. The problem is he only had +1. As I said, he didn't have the gas for everything here. So this played, I mean, Nerchio was just able to hold from there. That's pretty much it. Nerchio with some really nice micro.
Yeah, good micro, and it was really important that he was able to, when there was kind of that battle, and then the stalkers backed off, and then he was able to transfer drones to that 3rd, which I think was really significant. Verdi's main was mining out, so instead of Verdi taking a 3rd and having that extra income, he pulled his probes, whereas Nerchio was able to convert those drones into units, into useful military killing things.
Probes don't kill things. He brought those down.
Not very well.
As much. Well, I'd be lying if I said that I didn't enjoy every Verdi game that we have watched today.
Yes.
And yesterday.
He needs to show his power. Like when you come to a tournament, you need to show your power.
And he's showing his power. Yeah. It's really, really fun to watch. We're going to go into game 2. It's on Daybreak, and it's just underway. We're going to give it over to, Apollo and Kalaris.
Oh, and Kalaris. You are an awfully good-looking Kalaris.
I lost a lot of hair. I shaved and changed my shirt.
We're into the game. Yeah. Let's get on with it and give the players some introductions, as this is the last series of the evening. Remember, the winner of this series moves on to the next day, tomorrow, the next round of this tournament.
Exactly, and we have Nerchio now in the lead. He's up against the Protoss player, starting at the bottom left of Daybreak. It is Verdi. Down 1 game so far in this series, and with one of the sickest holds that I've seen in a while. Starting to the top right in red, the Polish player Acer's Nerchio.
All right, Nerchio, baby, let's see it shine, let's see it rain here, because you need to bring Storm to beat Verdi. Verdi is the Confuser. He was the Illusionist at first, was the nickname that QXC tried to give him.
The thing is, the Illusionist will be Seed.
Yeah. I mean, you got Illusion and Illusionist. I just prefer the Confuser. I like that QXC nickname.
I like that a lot.
I think it can stick.
And if, well, sometimes Verdi confuses himself. Right now we have him with a normal play for him. We go for the second pylon to block the hatch very, very early. It doesn't even try to just block with the probe first, and delays, of course, his entire build by this. He delays his own expansion, and let's see what Nerch is going to do here. This time at least we have like a normal pool opening for him.
Yeah, and we have a an interesting opening from Verdi. He's just slapped down that pylon and kind of ran away.
Yeah.
And that means he loves money, because he doesn't want to hang around. He just wants to get back to mining. And behind this, going for a Nexus can be a little bit risky here. I think he should be putting down a Forge, just because, of course, the spawning pool's about to finish, and Lings can easily make their way across.
And the Forge, that's exactly what he builds first. So the Zerglings are now being built for Nerchio. He has to take that pylon down. It will delay his expansion a little bit. The Zerglings will take the pylon, and then he drops the hatch. At the same time, Verdi with a bit of a faster expansion, just because he can. And Nerchio deciding that he's not going to stick around for those Zerglings to take down the pylon. And Verdi just hovering over to the third base, where there's no probe, nothing to block this hatch.
What's Verdi going to do in this game? Is he going to be doing an Immortal all-in, a Blink all-in, any form of all-in? That seems to be his kind of flavor. He does like these attacks, and he likes to fake out that he is, you know, trying to expand. He is trying to play mind games here. And we'll see what's going to happen here. Nerchio on this size of map isn't going to do anything, and should be looking towards a more Stefano-esque style, you know, 3 hatches, 6-minute gases, a Roach Ling focus play.
It's also one of those most standard play game maps that you have in PvZ. This map has been around for an eternity, and I feel this is always, at some point in the series, we always end up with a PvZ on Daybreak.
And I think that if Nerchio did try to tech up fast instead of playing Roach Ling, then he wouldn't do it, because he'd get stung by a all-in. And I think that's what he's very afraid about now. So I think he's definitely going to be playing Roach Ling, for sure.
The Cybernetics core is currently being built, so as soon as that's done, we are going to find out what exactly Verdi has planned for this game. What kind of tech we're going to see from him. The Overlords are getting into position for Nerchio. He needs to find out what's going on here. And the +1 attack upgrade has already been started for Verdi. So far, no scouting information for Nerchio. There's no Ling just hovering around. But he has an Overlord in position and can move in to find out if there's an upgrade.
This may be looking like an Immortal push here. Verdi's Immortal push, should I say.
Verdi's version of it, yeah.
Yeah, Verdi's version. Because usually you don't want to get +1 before, you want to get the faster Robo down.
Exactly.
Well, obviously, because he doesn't quite have enough gas to do that at the moment.
Do you think we might see him with maybe even a Warp Prism here if he decides to go for the robotics?
No.
Nah.
He's not a Warp Prism kind of guy. He's an Immortal kind of guy.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Come
but
on.
The timings are just a little bit off sometimes. But he made that work against Red.
He makes anything work. That's the best part about watching Verdi play. I mean, he's a good player. He's really talented, but some of his builds don't quite make sense. And I think he's going to go for an Immortal push here. You know, he likes it. He's got very good control. He's trailing already.
He did that yesterday. He moved out at 10:30 though, so really late for a standard Immortal push. But that's what we saw him do in a lot of PvZ so far. So is it the same thing that we're going to see today? At least today he didn't wait with the Cybernetics core until he was floating 300 minerals.
Yeah.
That
he did make a couple of mistakes. Nervous mistakes being in the open bracket, but he did manage to beat Rhett with 2 Immortal pushes.
And that's pretty impressive.
I'm really feeling that he's now losing against Nerchio, that's what he's going to pull out here. And we'll see, the Immortal immediately built here. He's gone up to 4 gases, so he's going to be very Sentry heavy as well.
The Roach Runner now built for his opponent. Normal timing for him. and also the tag into Lair. Speed is on his way. All those precautions that you have against 2 base timings, of course also against the Immortal push. We currently see the creep spread at the 3rd base, really important for him as well. +1 attack is nearly completed for Verdi, and there is the first Immortal nearly done.
Nearly done indeed, and he's going to go up to a total of 3, and then we are going to see the Warp Prism made, and we are going to see this push come out from him. The question now is going to be whether Nerchio can defend it. He stomped at 50 drones, and that's a good amount. You know, 50 drones. I think Nerchio is feeling it as well, because he obviously would like to drone up quite heavily than this, but he is on... No, he's only on... I thought he was already on 3 gases, but he's only just built that 3rd extractor.
The thing is, Nerchio never even really scouted what's going on, so he's currently preparing. As he said, he's feeling what's going on here. He's gonna prepare for another 2 base timing. That's what Verdi showed the entire tournament so far, and there are all those gateways. He's going up to a sick amount of them. We currently have him on 9 gateways. 9 gateways, good gosh. That's a lot of gateways. Yes.
And we are going to see this push come out though, but we don't see any Roach or Ling upgrades. We do have the +1, so this could be quite dangerous, but we do have Roach speed. It's going to make it a lot easier to engage, to escape from force fields and being trapped.
And look at that creep spread at the 3rd base. If Verdi is heading for the 3rd, then he will have to fight on creep. There is just so much. Nerchio didn't miss a single creep tumor here. He's going into the spine crawlers now. And at this point, Nerchio still staying very, very low with his drones. He's up at 47, 45 now with those added spine crawlers. So this means he has a huge army to face his opponent.
And he's moving out now. And there's a lot of spines coming down for Nerchio. He's going to sacrifice his 3rd. He's going to try and defend this natural while going for a counterattack. This is the way that Nerchio's chosen to play against it. There's only 1 cannon there, which means this can be broken down relatively fast.
And here come 2 Zealots, but he's in already. The sentries with the force field a little bit too late. The Zerglings already doing damage, and at the same time Verdi now moving up the ramp, trying to do damage here. But all those spine crawlers, well, half of them are still building, but he will have a hard time breaking through them, while Nerchio is now just going straight for the natural again.
And, well, is the defense going to hold up? The spines aren't really finished. There's a lot of spines behind the ones that are completing there, and he has hardly any drones left. Nerchio, is he going to mount the correct defense?
Well, Nerchio's just taking apart the entire economy of Verdi, and Verdi has to win the game with the units that he has right at the doorstep of Nerchio. The 3rd base is still alive, so at this point, he's evacuating all those drones, making sure that they are not dying, that his economy is still intact. But Verdi, does he have enough army? He has 56 army supply against 68, trying to break through the added spine crawlers. This is definitely going to be very difficult for him. The Immortals being key here.
Yeah, the Immortals being key, but there's a lot of Lings there. Imagine if Nerchio sent back his main army as well and sandwich this. Oh, don't go in without the Lings. He's going to bring them back. He's bringing his main army back. And what we're going to see now is Nerchio just pincer this army of Verdi. He's crippled his economy. He's crippled the amount of units that can come back from this. Nerchio should be looking for a clean 2-0 sweep. Unfortunately for Verdi, knocking him out of the tournament.
So many spine crawlers. Now he can try to force field the ramp, but Nerchio isn't even going for it. He's heading up the ramp as we speak. Here come the Zerglings streaming in, surrounding the entire Protoss army. He's already low on energy on the sentries, no added force fields, and Verdi is going to get crushed in this fight.
Yeah, an impressive defense there by Nerchio. Down at 33 supply. Good game. Nerchio does it. He now goes 3 wins, 2 losses, and pretty much puts himself into the next day of the Intel Extreme Masters. And Verdi, his tournament's come to an end.
Verdi is out of the IEM Katowice, and we have Nerchio advancing to the next round. He's going to play tomorrow once again. Impressive performance by him, and the last best of 3 of the day.
That's right. So a sad day for him here, but he has achieved a lot. He's put his name out there. You know, he qualified, he knocked Liquid Red out of the open bracket to make himself be the one that was playing in Group C here today. He's had a good couple of wins, but unfortunately Nerchio put an end to that here.
Yeah, Nerchio with a strong performance today, and Verdi unfortunately is not in the tournament anymore. Another Zerg advancing to the next round. So let's see what our analyst has to say about the last game of the day.
Well, there will be no more Verdi matches in this tournament, but I hope that we see him again in other tournaments. I think he did wonders for his brand this tournament. He came out of virtually nowhere, took out key players, named players, and showed us that that confusion is an effective strategy.
He was very close to making it out of his group. Just
Very close.
one set.
That first game could have so easily swung in his favor.
Yeah, definitely. This game was a little more one-sided, but he could have taken the first game, lost this one, and then still maybe even gone to a game 3 against Nerchio.
I think Nerchio was a bit scared after that first game and was not messing around in this game. It was on point.
I wouldn't call him scared, but I would say, yeah, he's like, oh, wait, I almost just lost. I almost got eliminated in my home country at the Intel Extreme Masters. He's like, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm winning.
Yep.
This is over.
And talking about the game here a little bit, Nerchio, he read this very well. He kind of knew this was coming, so he prepared a couple roaches and zerglings in advance, and now he realized that there was a nice move he could do. So basically he parked his units there, and as he saw that Verdi was about to move out, Verdi, by the way, not ever trying to fake that he would take a third. I guess he did on Antiga, but almost never in the other games. It would have really changed the games maybe if he had done so. Nerchio here realized that he has to move to do, so he basically hides those units. He has the Overlord here that's going to be able to spot those units moving out. And he's going to go for the counterattack with those units, and as he does that, he starts planning at his natural. He already knows exactly how this is going to pan out. He knows that this is going to do enough damage to most likely take out the natural of Verdi, in which case Nerchio only has to hold this attack, and he has one. So he actually leaves the drones here, I guess, since he has a perfect vision. Like, I'm watching Nerchio's vision right now. He could see everything coming his way. He could have transferred the drones wherever he wanted, but now he just chose to leave them here, which I think is the right choice. In the meantime, his roaches get inside of the base of Verdi. Verdi, he had really nicely walled here, so Nerchio wasn't able to get up, but he can just kill the natural. There was so many spines, and this is just so hard for Protoss to break into this, because, I mean, you get Zealots to tank damage, and you use Guardian Shield, but then once the Zealots are dead, I mean, sentries die so fast from the spine crawlers. Only the 3 Immortals can deal damage, but they can die as well. So this was also very smart by Verdi to go into the natural. Because, like, if you see that your opponent wants to trade base in this situation, his spine crawler should always be a natural. You need to break it before they finish. If you go for the third, the Zerg just sacks it, and you waste a lot of time killing a useless third, basically. So it was smart by Verdi, and now, very smartly so again, Nerchio comes back to defend this attack. He knows he only has to defend this anyone. There is no natural here for Verdi, so he's just gonna pull back here, wait for his units, and just crush this completely.
Yep. Very well played by Nerchio. Definitely recognized the strategy and put up a very good counter strategy as he needed to.
Yeah, he has so many units here. Injected pretty well this game, even though his units did not have any upgrades. He's able to take the win here. Verdi even landing the Immortal in the middle of the army.
Immortal, just die. This is over.
Pretty much.
Well, that ends our part of day 2 of the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice.
You got one right.
What?
You got one prediction right.
Oh, did you predict Nerchio too?
I got a 2-0.
I thought you said 2-0.
I did 2-0. It was 2-0.
Oh yeah, it was 2-0.
Yeah, you said 2-0.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm impressed.
What is this?
That's great.
This is weird.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. We are going to take off now, get some pierogies and some cabbage rolls, and wash it down with a few pints of apple juice, and it's going to be awesome. I'm going to give it over to Paul Redeye to close out the show. We will see you guys tomorrow. Please tune in. So many good games coming. Oh my God.
Thanks very much, Jarrett, and all of the guys have put in a long day today here at the Intel Extreme Masters. Season 7 Katowice, the crowd have, well, they've disappeared and they've gone home from the Spodek Arena as well. But I wanted to make sure we thanked you for tuning in. You've been fantastic all day long. Great games all day long as well. It's been a very, very long day of StarCraft 2. We've had some fantastic results and some fantastic matchups as well, not least of which the hometown boy going through right at the very end with Nerchio. One of those players is bidding to try and put their name on this trophy, but that's not until March. We're about to find out tomorrow who's got game in StarCraft 2. We'll see you then.